Hello everyone, welcome to game one of a little bit of a special Eternal Deck Tech slash gameplay video. So every month we do a tournament of power where we take all of the subdecks that I get submitted over a month and we fight them to the death until one remains. This is the one that remained. If you want the full deck tech as to like the breakdown of what the deck is trying to do, you can go and look down below in the description. I have a video that's attached to it. We are going to redraw this hand though. And I really think this deck is kind of cool. It's Ageless Mentor Rush. So we're trying to play Ageless Mentor to pump up most of the cards in our hand, and then just smash our opponent to death really, really fast. So it's kind of a bursty combo style deck. Almost an aggro combo. Very neat little deck, and it's super, super fun. Big shout out to all the subs and patrons who do make this possible. Send me in decks, and of course help support the stream, and help support all of the videos that I make. It really is helpful, and I mean, this is a blast. I really, really like doing this, so I hope you do as well. And yeah, let's get into the game. We have all of the influence that we need. We don't need double shadow for anything. We have the double fire, we have the double time. I guess I'll just get a shadow just because. We'll play Praxis Banner next. We would really like to draw an Ageless Mentor. That'd be great, because then we can have some big old charge units. That'd help out quite a bit. First hand just didn't have quite enough power. This hand's a little bit heavy on it.
Your next move.
Gilgan's Disciple, sure. We'll play Praxis Banner first. And if we can get an Ageless Mentor next turn, we're actually in pretty good shape. We'll have some really, really large charge units if we can do that. I'm just hoping that we don't draw something like, you know, a plain old Seek Power or anything like that. Ooh, wow. Already going for Berserk? Are they going to activate it? Nope. Okay. I was worried that they might already... Well, I don't even know if worried's the right term. I was wondering if they might already just go for a, you know, finest hour on it and just get in there. Berserking it this early is certainly something. That's a lot of damage, though. I mean, 8 already. A little bit of a slow hand here. Unfortunately, didn't get any merchants, didn't get any of the Ageless Mentors, so not really where we want to start. We've got a Venom Rider that we could run. I kind of feel like we Venom Rider and hold back, which is a terrible spot for us to be in, because this deck is meant to be the aggro. This deck should be trying to beat down. But we need to leave back the Venom Rider because we're not racing them here. And worse than that, if they have a pump spell, we really need to stop them from being able to deal extra damage, like getting through. If we play Diogo and they just Finest Hour, that looks miserable. This way, it's got Deadly, we know that it's going to die. Alright, there's a Lessie. Wow, we're really flooded here. This is an unfortunate circumstance. Alright, let's play Diogo.
A discovery for the ages.
I said I didn't want to have it as a blocker last time, but I'm going to have to have it as a blocker here because we're in so much trouble. And now here's the Accelerated Evolution, and that's probably the game. They've got a really good blitz start here. They'll just hold back this turn, and then next turn be able to jam a bunch of things together. Woof. That's probably the end of the road indeed. Because, yeah, that's a lot of power. 10 right now is way too much. So a little bit of bad luck here. It happens. Unfortunate. I mean, I think that this hand is going to be a hard deck to beat, and they've got a really good hand. They had a great start. They're playing pretty well. I mean, it's pretty obvious what you do. You just kind of beat us to death. That's what the deck is meant to do. But, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, not much of a game from our side. Sindok is cool. Nice cheap card for us to run out a lot of the time. I mean, I can attack with this and then maybe get Sindok online. And almost hard cast Sindok. That is never the goal of this. This deck should not be trying for that. Then give another thing flying. They just do it to a Lessie and we lose, right? That's all they have to do. Yeah. Because now that's 5 and they've got enough damage, so we can concede. Just had to make sure that they saw it. Oh well. I am super flooded. Okay. Ugh, it's close. I mean, if we just had one more power card, especially a Sigil, this hand would be fantastic. But without it, I think I need to redraw. Oh no. Okay, well, I mean, it does have Aurelian Merchant. If we draw a power card, just draw a Sigil. We can go Aurelian Merchant and then immediately grab our Ageless Mentor, pump up everything, and we've got a pretty good shot then. There we go. Alright, alright. I can see this. This might work. We can definitely get this to do what we need. We have all the influence we need by just playing Time Sigil here. So we'll do that. Play Aurelian Merchant. And we'll trade Seed of Chaos. Get our Mentor. And hopefully start getting in there. Apparently opponent is on some Life Force. Very nice. And their own Merchant. So that's either going to be Mask of Torment or a Katra. With them playing the actual Sanctuary Priest, I would not be surprised if it's Katra. Not a card that I've seen a whole lot of recently.
Time to reflect.
Our influence doesn't really matter now. We have everything we need. So we're just going to set it up like this and pass. There's the Mask of Torment. Yep. And no Sigil? Yeah. Darn. Vicious Highwayman. That's a cool card for us to hit. We could shoot this, and then they're not going to block, so we can get damage in. And that means we can slam double Lurking Sanguinar. That actually looks great. So we'll do this to kind of prevent them from blocking. They won't block the 1/4 then, which will allow us to get in with 2 creatures. They'll block the 2/3 on their 1/4. They'll let them... Oh! Really nothing. Well, I'll take full advantage of that. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave this in hand just in case we get another Merchant. Probably not relevant, but we don't really need 6 power. Or, well, certainly not 7 anyways, we'll put it that way. Like, if I draw another power card next turn, it doesn't really matter that I haven't played this one. They can play it then. Opponent gets another power card themselves, and we are in great shape. We've got a Pyre Elemental that we can just slam down, or we can play Venom Rider. I'm thinking that this is a Pyre Elemental, and we just slam all out. If they want to trade for some things, I'm okay with that. I'm playing the Pyre Elemental just because we might be able to Venom Rider and do something else. And that makes sense. I mean, I guess I could have just held on to the power card still and left Venom Rider here to see what we could get. Devour, sure. They're trying their best to stay alive here, but they don't look like a deck that's going to have a bunch of board wipes. Oh no, that could actually be a real problem if they manage to go off here. Oh wow, get Merchant so they can actually go and get another Destiny card. Voda, wait, what? Wait, what? I think we lose. What is happening? This is amazing. Oh my goodness, this is the... Oh wow, it's just the best hits. This is every possible good thing they can find. Wow. I love it. We're so dead. That's incredible. Well, I'm going to let them do this because they can't have this happen very often, but it's super, super sweet. Alrighty then. Well, there you go. Sometimes you just have the Talir perfect curve into Dark Return your Merchant to get Vodacon to immediately draw a power card. Woo! Wow, that's so sick. I love it. They might actually draw themselves to death and not be able to kill us. So let's watch what happens, and yeah, we'll be back in a minute when they're done. Well, darn. Our opponent wasn't greedy enough to go and get a second Talir or anything. They did have ways to stop the combo. So with that being the case, I feel like we've lost this. There we go. Yeah, pretty good. Wow. Alright then. Game 3. Whew. Well, our draws originally certainly haven't been good. Let's see if we can get a good second hand. This is not bad. We get an early Pyre Elemental, which is kind of part of what we're trying to do. If we can have a mentor, that'd be really awesome. But I'm okay without it. I guess we go for Shadow here. We might need double fire. We really need it for Sindok. I'm going to go for the Shadow, though. We've got a lot more fire to draw. Like, there's more sources of fire in our deck.
Another round in the chamber.
I don't like letting that live. That thing is terrifying to me. So we're going to shoot it. Next turn we can Torch plus Pyre Elemental and attack. And then we hope to, like, Venom Rider, maybe get Sindok soon afterwards. Alright. I'm more than a little bit nervous about not having the fire. I might have made a big mistake going for Shadow. It was a calculated risk, but might have been the wrong risk. And now their own Torch? Yep. Okay then. Well, pass the turn. If we can get a fire influence, that might be okay, but I mean, I don't even really want to draw that many more. Spire Guard.
Death from across the sands.
I'm actually willing to attack into this. They might just trade. And if they do, that's fine, because this thing can be pretty large. There we go. And if not, then we can maybe still use it later. Obviously we can't now because of the silence, but what do you do? Oh, we can Dark Return back a Pyre Elemental, which is a sweet little combo, by the way. I think we want to do that. We're in a decent racing position. I'd like to get Venom Rider out. Oh, they've got like a Torch here. Well, slam in. They can trade Torch and the Valkyrie Enforcer for the Pyre Elemental. Or they can just shoot that. Yep. And we're in a lot of trouble here. Need a fire influence. We just need any kind of power cards anyways, because Venom Rider being able to fight things would be pretty important for us right now. Opponent's deck looks a lot more aggressively oriented, and they seem to be doing a little bit better on the mana choke here that we both have. Alright, that is actually pretty nice. So we're going to attack first. I know that we could play Venom Rider, but okay, we could have played Sindok anyways. I just kind of wanted to see what would happen. Yeah, that was actually dumb. I should have played Venom Rider charged. We would have been able to play Sindok for free still. Because it would have been for 8, play it for 1. Yeah, this is me making a really bad mistake. So we dealt an extra 3 damage. It doesn't really matter if they have removal. It's still the same result, but it would make a real big difference next turn if they don't have the win. Deep Forge Plate. Oof. Okay. Have to block. Yeah, we lost the game on that. I threw it away.
Death from across
Oh,
the
that
sands.
sucks. I did a dumb. Yeah. I guess I didn't really throw it away because there was no way for me to attack through the Deep Forge Plate anyways. I was still in a lot of trouble. Just wanted to see what would happen if our opponent would do anything. If we had done it differently, we'd have put them to 3. Yeah, I mean, we still just put them to 3. There's not really anything else that I could have done. We'd have been able to get 1 Sindok down, but not both. So Deep Forged Plate was going to kill us either way, but a pretty big mistake on my part by not playing the charge unit into the Sindok. An obvious thing that you need to be doing with this deck. And that's why you need to practice your decks too, just as an aside. Like, let's take a moment, because that was a really poorly played game on my part, no question. But you've got to practice with your decks. It's not just about, like, being a good player. It's not just about having the right deck. A lot of it is also, like, being familiar with the deck. You can have a deck that's subpar, but if you know what you're doing with it, you can play a lot better than what people expect, and you can play around, like, what the meta is. Me not knowing the deck that well and not having a whole lot to do with it, it makes me do some stupid things. Like, sometimes you just forget interactions. And so it's really important, if you like a deck and you really want to play it a lot, practice it a bit. Like, don't just take a few games, lose one or two, and then be like, well, this deck sucks, and throw it in the bin. If you really think the deck's kind of fun and you'd like to play it, try and practice with it a bit. You can get some more play out of decks by just learning them and knowing what you're doing with them, because you can make some really dumb mistakes when you're starting out with them. Whew. Alright, another game. Man, this is the rough one again. We need fire real bad. No way that I can keep that with a bunch of double fire cards. This one's really nice if we can actually draw a power card. If we can get an undepleted power pretty early, Aurelian Merchant sets up a lot of what we want to be doing. The big question is can we get there? Because if we don't, well, this game's going to be over really, really fast. There's Call the Deck, alright. Yeah, this deck is very fun, but man, it is super draw dependent. It's one of those glass cannon style decks. When it wins big. And when it loses big. It loses fast and early. This is a tough one. We need to get both a power card and we kind of need an Ageless Mentor. I think we trade Dark Return, and we don't have power cards in our sideboard. Right. I forgot about that. I mentioned this in the deck tech. I talked about it. I talk about a lot of things that I might change with this deck as a sub-submitted deck. I don't know if it was made specifically by Change of Momentum or if it was something that they found originally, but I do really like to have any kinds of power cards in our sideboard exactly for situations like this. Like, if we had a banner there to get Fire and Shadow, I mean, imagine how much better this hand gets, right? So much better instantly. Wait, they're playing Corrupted Umbran? Interesting. So we could play Venom Rider, but we're going to want to get Ageless Mentor down so we can pump everything up. And hopefully we draw some banners and can play everything else. Really interested in the Corrupted Umbran play, though. That is something new. Oof. That hurts a lot. We're already stuck on power. That is incredibly backbreaking for us. Instantly going for the Berserk. Just
mercy isn't really my
no
strong
fear at all.
suit.
That's really weird to me. Like, it feels like a deck that's probably got some weapons or pump spells. I guess they're not waiting for it. So that's strange. Venom Rider is okay, but we probably have to leave it back. Again, a situation we really don't want to be in. We do not want to leave anything back in this deck. This deck is meant to just be attacking all the time. But we've had some pretty clunky starts. We'll block. They might have Rapid Shot. I'd feel like if they had Rapid Shot, they'd have used it last time, though. I should definitely block it. We're not going to be able to stop that forever. Oh, nice. They get to silence it. That's really good for them. This is not bad for us, though. So now we can go Lifespeaker into Bandit Queen if we want. We could also Merchant for something. So we could go like Lifespeaker, Merchant, and then get an Alhed. Actually start that chain off. It's not a terrible plan. I kind of like going Lifespeaker, Merchant, and even going for Alhed. I know that I said that in the deck tech, you don't really want to go super long game in these. But right now, we are backed into a bit of a corner. I think that we have to have something like this as an attempt to get there. Do the double block. I'm more than okay with that. Just want less Sheriff Marleys around. Just a less Marleys in my life would be great.
I'll get it running. No problem.
Workshop Tinker. Discarding Steadfast Deputy. Cool. I mean, that's a nice way to use an extra card. Workshop Tinker is not a card you see a lot of either. We're getting a lot of, like, really interesting cards you don't see a ton, which is cool. We can use Alhed to put the Mentor back up and make these larger again. So that's an option that we can do. Don't know that we want to, but it's something we could go for. Tinker, scout to the bottom. Probably Marley and make a 1/1. I mean, a big problem here is that we really need to find some way to push through damage and we can land Sindok, and then we're just in great shape. We could Bandit Queen next turn, does allow us to attack at least with the Alhed, but they just chump block then. Okay, well they have something else of use in their hand, or they had to go to the bathroom or something, because there's no real reason to think about, like, 4 with Sheriff Marley, use it, get a 1-1. If you don't have anything else super useful in hand, that's a pretty strong play. Alright, so as it turned out, our opponent was, in fact, just going away from the game somehow. So they just timed out. Which means we could go really risky and try and just, like, get extra damage in here. I actually don't mind going this way, because then it gets a free Lurking Sanguinar. We don't really need the Merchant. I don't mind having this still. I guess, you know what, let's just attack all out. This is a deck that just goes face. Let's go face, we'll try and get the Lurking Sanguinar down, and then we should be able to blitz them out of the game from there. Unless, of course, they immediately Aurelian Merchant for a Vodacon and go off, as it turns out. That might be a problem for us. Well, as it turns out, I don't think our opponent's coming back. And we got some big damage now. That was going to be a pretty good turn for us anyways. If they used the Marley and played a 1-1, we'd have had a very similar turn. It'd have been a little bit less damage, but we were kind of getting there anyways with this hand. It's too bad that we finally got there with a hand and our opponent had to leave. But hey, you know, I mean... Oh, I think they might have actually come back for a second on that one. Too bad. Good game, though. We finally got to see how the deck can just get really explosive. Alright, we have a finals. Seek Power is not good enough with only a seat, so we're definitely going to have to redraw this. And, oh no, all depleted power. That's going to make for a bit of a clunky start. We've had a lot of those. This deck, I think, does lend itself, as I said, to kind of the glass cannon strategy, where if it draws well, it's insane, and if it draws poorly like this, it really falls apart fast and shows the cracks behind the facade very, very, very fast. Guess we'll play a banner. Hold on to these. Hopefully we draw a regular Sigil and we can just slam Aurelian Merchant. I like the idea of not having a whole lot of crests and stuff in this deck, so we don't have depleted power, but that might mean that we need to sacrifice some more, like, banners and seats and stuff to just make sure we have regular power cards in here, and we can have them all undepleted. Because this deck does really fall apart on a bad draw, and we've been getting a lot of them because, I think, of the power base. Just having so much depleted power all the time. And the goal is to not have any. That's the reason why you don't have a lot of crests in here. Let's go... I guess we can go for Shadow. It doesn't really matter. We're kind of in a position where anything works. So we'll go, sure, Shadow Sigil, and then it doesn't really matter how we do this. We can play that now, because we don't need anything. Next turn we Aurelian Merchant, and we can actually go for Ageless Mentor. Chuck Seed of Impulse, make sure that we have enough Shadow for Vicious Highwayman. And then we have everything. We've got 2, 2, and 2. Alright, seems good.
A customer.
Chuck the seat, get the Mentor, and pass the turn. We can just slam Highwayman next turn if we feel like it. Yeah, Runehammer is a bit of a problem. This might be an okay matchup for us, because if once we get Ageless Mentor down, I was going to say, hopefully we draw a card that we don't really care about. Like, we want another one that we can buff. So, it might be okay against this deck, because of the fact that we're going to try and play, like, a couple of really, really big threats. And then we don't walk into a harsh rule. We can just play one at a time, play it a little bit differently. Ryzen is an incredible hit, though, for our opponent. Makes it really tough for us to do things here. We can Highwayman. It doesn't have quick draw, though. So I guess it might be better to Bandit Queen, so we can make sure that we get rid of the hammer at this point. Unfortunate, but I think that's what we want to do. It's like we get rid of one of the two of them either way, and that helps out a lot. No, do not get lifesteal. Oh, gross. Getting close. Getting real close. They just need one more, and they're there. Well, we can fish this Highwayman into Sindok and just try and slam. Like I said, it does leave us open to Harsh Rule.
Which one of you needs shooting?
No. Please don't kill it. They've got an Eileen's Choice or something. They're looking at a specific card. Maybe not? Listen, we're in for a penny, in for a pound. We've already got our two big beasts out there. Let's slam this too. If they have a Harsh Rule, well, it's real bad for us. Vanquish sucks. It does give lifesteal to Ryzen too, but it could definitely have been worse. And now we can get Sindok way cheaper and with lifesteal. Wow, a second one. And we're just kind of flooding again. Yikes. So we make this into 4. And we've got 3 left. It's not enough to play Sindok. Think we still do it? What do they have? They must have Wisdom of the Elders? Got some spell like that. Vicious Highwayman is okay. Charge would be nice. Charge would be really nice. So I think we have to Highwayman. I mean, Sindok is better in the way that it's flying, but it being so expensive, not actually being able to be played next turn unless we just rip a power card off the top is kind of rough. And then, of course, just not having charge is even worse, because they might be able to kill it before it matters. Another Ryzen. Yep. Super nasty. Oh yeah, wow. Double Ryzen, multiple torches, multiple vanquishes. Not much you can do about that. That was a great hand by our opponent. And that deck is really solid. If you've seen the Ikaria blue decks, they've been kind of taking over. And there's a reason for it. They're super, super solid. They've got a lot of good one-for-one removal with things like Auric Runehammers. They've got some good wipes with Harsh Rules. And of course their threats are amazing. Ryzen and Ikaria are both fantastic. So it shows why that deck is pretty solid. But this deck is fun. If you can actually get it together so that it'll work out, where it's a little bit more consistent, it can do a ton of damage. We saw that when our opponent timed out. It's too bad they timed out of that game because we finally got to just absolutely hammer somebody in game 4. Thought that was really, really fun, and it shows off a little bit more of the deck. I did do a deck tech video already where I went really in depth on the changes that I would probably like to see tested with this deck or make myself. So you can definitely look at that instead. I'm not going to go over all of them again. That's just down below in the link. And again, thanks everybody who made this possible, all the subs and patrons who send me in their fun decks. There's a lot of really, really weird out there jank with the decks that get submitted, and they're fantastic because of that. I really, really enjoy them. They're super fun, and I hope you like them too. I'll see you next month for the new Tournament of Power, and of course next week for another deck tech. See you then!